The return of Captain America to Secret Wars is confirmed. What happens when you decide to give up happiness to save the multiverse? How would you feel if after years of struggle and sacrifice, you finally achieve a peaceful life with the one you love, only to find out that you must give up that happiness to face a threat that could destroy all realities? Is it possible for Captain America to sacrifice his future with Peggy Carter to save the multiverse? What if Tony Stark's sacrifice won't be as painful as the sacrifice of a Captain America who gives up happiness for the lives of everyone?
Oh, that reminds me. Try not.
Since his first on-screen appearance, Steve Rogers has been the hero who puts duty, honor, and justice above his own needs. Let's look back at his journey in Avengers Endgame. After returning the Infinity Stones to their respective times, he decided to do something that surprised many viewers. Instead of returning to his teammates, Steve chose to go back to the past and live the life he always wanted alongside Peggy Carter. It was a perfect ending, a farewell to a warrior who, at last, could hang up his shield and enjoy the peace that had been denied to him for decades. Something that could be about to change. What did Steve Rogers do during his time with Peggy Carter up until the time he became old? This is one of the great unsolved mysteries in the Marvel Universe. On the one hand, some believe that Steve remained in the same world as the frozen Captain America, which would have created a temporal paradox. However, the Russo brothers claim that Steve lived out his days in a parallel reality. Could Steve's return to action finally reveal the truth behind this enigma? In this video, we'll be discussing the return of Captain America and his ultimate sacrifice, something that could close the story of the Marvel Universe forever. And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. During the past few days, multiple internet portals have repeated rumors and news about a possible return of Steve Rogers. In the last few hours, this news became a reality, after it was confirmed the return of the actor who played Captain America for the movie Avengers Secret Wars. But what does this mean for the future of Marvel? With the introduction of the multiverse, the rules of the game have changed. Variants, divergent timelines, and parallel realities, everything has become more complex. Plus, the arrival of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is inevitable. Yes, the same actor who brought Tony Stark to life, Steve's greatest sidekick and at times ideological rival. Now, this version of Doom, a twisted genius with Stark's mind and charisma, but focused on absolute power, threatens to plunge the multiverse into chaos. Or at least that's what we think this character would be about. We could call him the negative version of Tony Stark. Do you remember a few years ago the Avengers Civil War? The fight between Tony Stark and Captain America was a confrontation that, even though we knew it wasn't life and death, it divided the internet into sides. Some supported Captain America and others supported Iron Man. That fight we saw in Civil War could be repeated, but this time it won't be Steve against Tony, but Steve against Dr. Doom, and it will be for the future of the multiverse. This time, it's a fight to death. Can you imagine the horror Steve would feel when he sees the face of his fallen friend turned into the ultimate villain? Tony Stark gave his life to save the universe, snapping his fingers and sacrificing himself to bring millions back into existence. Tony became a symbol of hope. However, this Dr. Doom is not Tony, but a perverse divergence that, with the same intelligence, could be seeking to destroy the multiverse. Now let's think, why would we need a young Captain America, one who has not yet lived through his final retirement with Peggy, to face this threat? The answer is clear and deeply impactful. Because his leadership, his moral compass, and his unwavering faith in doing the right thing are irreplaceable. The multiverse doesn't just need physical strength, it needs a symbol. And Steve Rogers is that symbol. In previous videos, we have talked about the Dark Avengers. Characters like the Scarlet Witch, Agatha, Loki, Vision, Wolverine, Deadpool, among others. They all have something in common. They are morally questionable figures, willing to do whatever it takes to win. Imagine this group taking on Dr. Doom, a threat that requires not only power, but a kind of leadership that inspires even the most dubious. But until now, we didn't know which version of Captain America would be the one to lead this battle. Currently, Sam Wilson has the shield and his role as Captain America is undisputed. However, if the Dark Avengers theory turns out to be true, the return of Steve Rogers seems to fit perfectly.
You're not Steve Rogers. You're right. I'm not.
His presence could be the bridge between these dark heroes and the hope the multiverse needs, striking the balance between what is necessary and what is right. It all starts to make sense. The Avengers will be made up of people who were once villains, who failed their universes, or who are willing to do the worst to win. But they will be led by one person who has everything to lose, Steve Rogers. Steve is a symbol of hope, and he's perhaps the only person who would give the opportunity to characters like the Scarlet Witch to fight by his side. Steve is the hope to stop the war in Secret Wars, but it could mean he is at risk of losing his life with Peggy Carter. Should a hero reject his personal happiness in favor of the greater common good? What will happen if this evil version of Tony Stark as Dr. Doom ends up taking Captain America's life? Steve, when confronted by Doom, would see an evil distortion of Tony's face. He would remember his friend's sacrifice, the feuds that separated them during Civil War, the laughter they shared, and the losses they endured together. Now, he would find himself fighting a version of Tony that embodies the complete opposite of what Stark stood for at the end of his life. Perhaps Steve would have no desire to end the life of that Dr. Doom, and this could lead him to lose his life. And this could perhaps be what unites the Avengers again, because if Steve is willing to sacrifice his happiness to fight again against a familiar face, and sacrifice himself to restore order to the multiverse, something he would not have to do, as he would only have to stay in the past with Peggy, it would show that Captain America is still the most honorable person in the Marvel Universe, and that his sacrifice could become much more emotional than Tony Stark's. Well, if we see a version of young Steve sacrificing himself, he will never become that old man satisfied with the life he had. He will never be able to be with her. But tell me, what do you think of all this? What do you think of Steve Rogers' return to Avengers Secret Wars? Share your opinion in the comments, and for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You're on The Oasis Geek.